Okay, so the guys are out here. We're gonna get these tables set up and ready to go for these countertops. All right, so we use sawhorses. Those are for our bases, like Sosa. And then we just make little tables out of 4x4s, like that. And then, yeah, there's a longer one up there. I gotta look in the paperwork and see how long this is. It doesn't necessarily need to be level per se, as long as the table flow is the same. Like, it can be leaning left to right, but it has to be leaning left and right at the same rate. So. That's a heavy one, huh? She a heavy. Yeah, I think that's probably pretty good. See how this is off here? See that? We just have to do some adjusting for all this good stuff. And, you know, over time this stuff does warp. So, it's not a perfect life we lead. Just make the best of it. These are good filler jobs for winter. So, I mean, if we did these every day, all day, then we would probably keep the table system up. But we don't. We do them as needed, as people buy. A lot of times it is outdoor kitchens and bar tops. This is just a straight kitchen top that goes across the back wall of the place. So, but that there still is down, so we'll have to do a little bit of shimming. Trying to see why it's down, because that melamine is kind of it looks like it's been wet a few times here. It's blowed up. We'll just shim it under here. Push her together, good. Push her together. Push her. There we go. Well, we're gonna have to get this shim on here. Whatever you got, that is gonna stay anyway.
Well, the edges are good, but this is a little much.
Yeah. That's all. This one here is just kind of warping. Actually, all of it's warping.
Yeah, this one's not even. This is better than that. Yeah, we can't change that.
This one here looks like it's. That corner looks high over there, don't it?
Yeah.
Let's see what we got. That might be the whole deal. Sitting on there. Sitting on everything.
I think it's just the
floor.
No, I think it's this is. Yeah, it's not sitting on there.
Oh, we just need to tidy it up a little bit. We can go get a level and kind of level it up. All right, anyway, that's the gist of it. We just got to do a little bit of tweaking and level. Okay, so our little board, well, I'm going to say a little board. Our table here, that is warped pretty good over the seasons here. So we're throwing it out. Oh, you see those legs right there, those 4x4s? Those are probably going to be my deer stand. Everything's your deer stand. But anyway, we dug it out of the thickness of the hell of a countertop here that we're going to install. We're kind of being brave here because there's no cabinets.
Right on that pipe.
But
Okay, cool.
we're going to try to speed things up for when the cabinets come in. And it takes, what, 28 days for concrete to cure for us to do this, so it'll be a little quicker. And we're going to probably need a little bit of luck from everybody, so good luck.
Hands in pockets.
Yeah.
Doing a whole bunch of nothing. All right, this one's cut to size. Now we got our strips. We're gonna cut this one to the same size as this.
What's the size?
25 and a half.
25 and a half. Hopefully he's right.
That was the number you came up with.
Yeah, hopefully you're right.
So we're gonna cut that now. And yeah, both, yeah. All right, 10. We got all the bottoms done, cut the size. And now we're going to just cut these and nail them on like good. And then we're doing a little tricky thing here. So that way, because this is all one thing, but there's gonna be a sink. And you can't do too long of a piece. But what we're gonna do is, since we have these two pieces and they're buttoned up to each other, we're gonna put this together, put a bead of silicone there, and this size are just gonna be the same, and then afterwards we're gonna cut it. So it'll be like seamless when we're done, but there is gonna be a seam. Seamless seam.
You do it that way, folks, and they butt up better. Like that. Instead of both having edges and meeting. Like that. It's not as pretty.
Not as pretty. But this one is in between. This is actually kind of quite literally how this is gonna lay out. So these are gonna be one thing. Dishwasher, then this one.
Well,
Stove. Then the dishwasher's right here. And then but yeah.
pretty much like that.
It'll work wonders.
Folks, I want to tell folks something I just learned.
What'd you learn?
I didn't even really think about this, which if you think about it, you're like, oh yeah, that's definitely how you're supposed to do it. But you've got to, like, our sink is going to be over here in real life. So it's going to be over here for us when we pour it, because then you flip the tables over.
Yeah.
Because this is your top. This is your pretty side.
They're poured upside down.
So a little something for you folks to be thinking about.
Yeah.
You have objects like a faucet and a sink, or any type of plumbing or anything else. You gotta mirror it and then pour it.
Yeah, which can get tricky. This isn't too tricky because it's all straight. Whenever you get into the edges, like 90s and stuff, now you're flipping the whole L upside down. And then sometimes they want curves. We did a bar once and it was a 90 that led into it was like this, and then a 90, and then that 90 led into a big old curve around, and then it turned into another 90 this way. So we had this whole entire shop empty, all of our tables set up, and we had it all laid out like upside down, and they're head scratchers. Makes you do one of these.
A lot of thinking.
One of those. See, I didn't even tell him to do that. He just was doing it. So, but yeah, we're gonna put you in warp speed, and we're going to put the sides on, make it great. Got dust all over me. Also, I know this is a how-to, but I would just like to add that there was a mouse that ran across here earlier, and this is our new shop fridge, new to us, old fridge, and it went under there, and we're worried that it's gonna eat our wires. So that's just
We should tell the folks about the sides.
okay, and we got the sides. Yeah, which I think Doug did, but if Doug didn't, every bit of concrete that we're pouring here for these countertops is 2 inches thick.
Right.
So if you think about everything, the material is 3/4 of an inch thick. So whenever you put your sides on, you gotta add up. This is 3/4, boom. Then the 2 inches.
Right.
So that way it's full 2 inches.
That way you adjust for this length here.
Yeah, if you cut them at 2 inches, you're gonna have 1 1/4 inch tops, and that's no bueno.
Right, so you put your bottoms as the size of what you're wanting to pour, and then all your sides get nailed on to the outsides.
Yes.
Another head scratcher.
Yep, another head scratcher, and that can mess.
Countertops are head scratching. They're head scratching in general.
Yeah.
Countertops are head scratching. It's like stairs.
That's why we're making a how-to video.
Yeah.
So that way
you guys can
you don't
scratch
have to.
less.
Yeah, you
Let
don't.
us scratch your head.
Because whenever a head scratch turns into a head tap, that's when things get bad. That's when you don't want to. Yeah, one of these, ooh, that's when you don't want to do that anymore. And then you just scrap the whole idea and it's not good. And we've done that a few times. We didn't scrap the idea, but we've done that a few times and we don't like that. So we don't want you guys to do that either. We don't want the no good.
I think this is gonna be a good how-to. If only I had a real hat. I only had a beanie. I put my hood up when I left my house this morning, folks. Not that you guys care. And when I put my hood up, I oftentimes forget. No, I turned it on to real time. But I oftentimes forget to put on a hat when I put my hood up in my house, like when I'm like feeding the dog and stuff. And I just roll out of the house and I don't have a hat. And I get to work and I have to find a beanie. But luckily all my beanies are in the work truck, so when I leave my house I don't have any beanies because they're all in the work truck already. But
All right, folks.
this was mainly just to show you guys what's going down. So
What we use is an air-powered brad nail gun. And what we use, and we found, is you can get the long ones. You can get the long, like 3-inch ones, because as you can see, this thing will fit multiple sizes. The problem with the long ones is you got to be really careful, which we'll show you. I'll do one real quick. You got to be really careful when you go in, because if this thing isn't angled perfectly, like whenever you go in here, I'll just show you here. Obviously there's not a side there, but if you go in there like this, and you go too high, see where the nail comes out? So you got to kind of go, if anything, you want it perfectly straight in there, but if anything, go down, because we have them sometimes, especially with the long ones. Short ones do it too, but it'll come poking up the top because these nails are really weak.
Right.
So it'll, and then you got to snip it and silicone it, and it's a rigmarole that you don't need to do. All right, here we go. Here's our molds that we're going to put on to the one side of these, because the other sides, this side, which is actually that side, is going to go up against the wall, so it doesn't get a mold. But the front side that you're going to see that's exposed, we're going to put these molds on there, and we'll show you how we do that first, or we'll show you how we do that, but first we have to clean these up, because from pouring on them and using the silicone that you'll see later, we just got to get them cleaned up. Started one right here just to show you guys. Yeah, I just did one here just to show you guys how we do this. So you clean these up after you get these clean. See how there's old concrete and silicone? I already explained that. Anyway, once you get these things clean, the next step is to get them on here, nail them backwards through there, as you can see, and then get them ready for silicone. So right now we are getting pieces on the little ones. You got to kind of piece them together. If you got these, you do the full span and then just piece at the end. But whenever you got to try to we try to avoid cutting them. So like one of these little chunks is we're using it, even though it's kind of like, why wouldn't you just get a bigger chunk? Well, because then you got to cut the bigger chunk. So that's what we do. Now we're going to nail all these on, and then we'll show you how to get them ready to pour.
all right, folks. So now you get an idea of what we're looking for. So we got our pieces pieced in. You can see that everything isn't perfect yet. We still have gaps in between a little bit. Obviously you try to get as much of that out as you can. And then this one we had one long piece, and then we had this piece in 2 more small ones. So
All right, everybody. I know we feel like we're on time lapse because it's taking these guys so long to do this, but we're really not. But they said it's going to be the best ever. Is that the truth? Don't lie.
It is the best ever. It's not gonna be. It already is. Look at it.
Holy Moses. What about the table? You got that done? You got the table cut and ready to go?
Nope. Okay.
Oh my. Okay, so now we're to step dose?
Yes.
Trace?
Step number 3.
Anyway, we're at the step of putting the sink in here and marking where it's going. So what I do, and everybody's different, whatever, I don't know. I'll find, it's probably the best way though, because the cabinet's 36 inches. 30, or from here, that's the outside of the cabinet, 36 inches. Now this sink is a big old monster sink. it's 32 inches. So I'll mark center, if you can see that black dot, that is half of 36. And then that other black right here is half of 32. Okay? Pretty simple. Just line that up. So I want to make sure that I have enough beefiness in between here, because it's going to be fairly narrow here, right? And that's going to be a good cracking point. So we are 4 1/4 back here, and we are 4 in the front. So I went ahead and chose to go 4 1/4, just to give us however much extra we can have for our. Did you guys find those little plugs? For our little plugs to go in for our sink, our faucet mold. So this is actually going to work out pretty good. This is probably the hardest part. Like this here is just nailing boards together, whatever. Brad nailing. That's going to be the hardest part. So we take our sink like that, right? Now we have to take and make a mold for our sink out of foam, 2-inch foam. Right here, 2-inch foam, okay? So that's gonna be what we pour around to make our void for our sink. As soon as I get this thing flipped back over, I'll flip you back on, and then we'll go over the next step on how I make the mold for the sink.